Get out before I drag you outside myself." David roared. My pregnant body shook. Then his hand pushed my suitcase into the rain. Thunder cracked across the dark village sky, while muddy water soaked my feet. "David, please," I cried. "I'm carrying your child." But his eyes were empty. "That child will never enter my house alive." The words cut deeper than a knife. 7 years. 7 years of cooking for him, praying for him, standing beside him when he had nothing. Now another woman's perfume filled the house behind him. I held my stomach tightly as pain twisted through my body. "Where will I go?" I whispered. David pointed toward the road. "To hell. I don't care." The neighbors slowly opened their windows. Nobody spoke. Nobody helped. The rain hit harder. I bent down to carry my bag, but another sharp pain exploded inside my belly. I screamed. David didn't move. He simply slammed the door. As lightning flashed, old Mother Abigail appeared beside the fence with fear in her eyes. Then she whispered, "David has opened a door he cannot close." Before I could ask what she meant, blood slowly began running down my legs into the mud. The door suddenly opened again. A woman stepped outside wearing David's shirt. Then she smiled at me in the rain. Monica crossed her arms proudly. "So this is the famous wife," she mocked. My heart nearly stopped. David stood behind her without shame. Monica walked closer and touched my wet hair. "You really thought he still loved you?" I stepped backward, slipping in the slime. "Leave me alone." But she laughed, a sound like glass breaking. "Oh, Rose." David was tired of waiting for a child. I froze. "You liar," I whispered. Monica leaned close to my ear, her breath smelling of expensive wine. "He has been mine for almost 2 years." The world spun around me. David avoided my eyes. That silence told me everything. Monica suddenly grabbed my suitcase and threw it deeper into the mud. A car stopped beside the house. 2 strange men stepped out carrying heavy envelopes. David quickly hid them inside his jacket. The door slammed shut again. But inside that house, Monica was already planning something far worse than betrayal. Pain exploded through my stomach. I collapsed into the mud screaming. Warm blood ran down my legs. "Not my baby, please God." The rain swallowed my voice. My body shook violently, while the cold ground pressed against my face. Nobody came outside. The village watched from behind curtains. Another contraction hit me like fire. I screamed David's name one last time. No answer. Only thunder. I tried crawling toward the road, but darkness covered my eyes. Then footsteps approached slowly. A lantern glowed through the fog. An old woman stood above me wearing white clothes. Her cloudy eyes stared deeply into my stomach. As darkness finally swallowed me, the old woman whispered, "The child is coming, but destiny is coming first." Mother Abigail pressed her hand against my stomach. Instantly, the pain stopped. Then her eyes widened in fear. I lay inside her small hut beside a burning lantern. Rain still hammered the roof. Mother Abigail kept staring at my belly like she saw something invisible. "This child is not ordinary," she whispered. Fear covered my skin. "What do you mean?" She ignored my question. Instead, she walked toward a wooden shelf filled with strange bottles and old books. "The father rejected him before birth," she said slowly. "But heaven did not reject him." Tears filled my eyes. David's cruel voice echoed in my head again. Mother Abigail suddenly looked angry. "Be careful what men say during anger," she warned. "Words can become curses." I held my stomach protectively. Mother Abigail lowered her voice. "The man who rejected this child," she whispered, "will one day beg this same child to save his life." Outside the hut, a shadowy figure secretly listened through the window. Then the person quietly ran into the night toward David's house. David pointed directly at me in the crowded market. "That pregnancy is a lie," he shouted. The entire village gasped. People stopped buying food. Women covered their mouths. Children gathered around us. I stood frozen while Monica held David's arm proudly. "She cheated on me," David announced loudly. The crowd exploded into whispers. "No, she looks innocent. Maybe the child isn't his." My chest tightened painfully. "David, why are you doing this?" But Monica suddenly stepped forward holding fake letters. "We found these in her bag," she lied. David grabbed the papers dramatically. "She has another man in the city." The villagers turned against me immediately. One woman spat near my feet. Then Monica leaned close to my ear. "You should have disappeared quietly." I stared at her in shock. "You planned this." An angry elder suddenly raised his walking stick. "A cheating wife brings curses upon a village." Two men stood before the village council and lied about me. Monica had paid them well. My fate was already decided. She met another man secretly, one witness claimed. She confessed everything, the second man added. I screamed in disbelief. "That's not true." But nobody listened. David sat quietly beside Monica, like I no longer existed. The chief shook his head sadly. "Rose, leave this village before sunrise." My knees nearly failed. "This is my home," Monica smirked. "Not anymore." That night, I packed my few clothes while tears soaked my face. Mother Abigail entered silently. "You cannot stay here," she warned. Outside, dogs barked wildly. The air suddenly turned hot and smoky. Then flames suddenly rose near my window. Someone had set my hut on fire. I grabbed my bag and ran into the darkness, the orange glow of my past burning behind me. As I escaped, I heard Monica's voice. "Make sure she never returns." 21 years later, people ran through the hospital in panic. "Call Dr. Samuel now. The patient is dying." Samuel wore calm confidence like armor. Nurses moved aside instantly. Patients prayed when they saw him. His hands had saved impossible cases across the country. Inside the operating room, blood covered the floor. A child's heartbeat weakened rapidly. "Scalpel," Samuel ordered calmly. Doctors obeyed without question. Hours passed. Sweat rolled down his forehead. Finally, the machine beeped steadily again. The room exploded into relief. Samuel removed his gloves quietly. He drove home to the small apartment where his mother still lived her proudly when she saw him. That same night, the hospital received an emergency transfer request from a wealthy businessman with severe heart failure. Nobody noticed the patient's name yet. Samuel adjusted his surgical gloves, unaware the next patient would destroy everything he believed about his life. "Mom, who is my father really?" Samuel's question froze the room. The spoon fell from Rose's hand. Dinner suddenly became silent. Rose forced a weak smile. "Why are you asking now?" Samuel stared carefully at her. "Because every time I ask, you look afraid." Rose stood and faced the window. Rain tapped softly outside, echoing the storm from 2 decades ago. "The past is dangerous," she whispered. Samuel followed her slowly. "Did he abandon us?" Tears gathered in her eyes. "He abandoned me before you were born." Samuel clenched his fists. What kind of man throws away his pregnant wife? Rose couldn't answer. The village, the fire, the lies. They were all buried under a layer of success. Suddenly her phone rang loudly. The hospital. Samuel answered quickly. His expression changed immediately. Before Rose could answer his question, fate had already started dragging Samuel toward the truth. "The patient is critical," he said. "I have to go." David could barely breathe. His expensive bedroom echoed with desperate gasps. Yet nobody truly cared if he survived. Machines surrounded his bed. Medicines covered the tables. But fear still filled his eyes. Monica paced nervously nearby. "You must stay alive," she snapped. David looked at her weakly. "For me, or for my money?" Monica turned away silently. Over the years, David gained wealth, but lost peace. Friends disappeared. Business partners cheated him, and Monica became colder every year. Then nightmares started. Rain, blood, a crying pregnant woman. David grabbed his chest painfully. The doctor entered quickly. "Your condition is worsening. We found one surgeon who may help." He handed David a tablet with a photo. David stared at the young surgeon's face. Something about Samuel's eyes felt painfully familiar. The only surgeon capable of saving David's life was the son he abandoned before birth. David woke up screaming. Sweat covered his body. Then he saw Mother Abigail standing inside the room. The lantern in her hand glowed blue. David trembled violently. "You're dead," he whispered. Mother Abigail stared silently. No sin stays buried forever. David tried standing, but his chest exploded with pain. What do you want from me? The old woman moved closer slowly. The child lives. David's breathing stopped. Impossible. Rose lost that baby, didn't she? Mother Abigail's eyes darkened. You threw away blood from your own body, and now death is standing at your door. David fell to his knees. Please, the child you rejected, she whispered, is the only thing standing between you and death. Then she vanished. David woke again inside his real bedroom, shaking. Monica rushed into the room. David grabbed her arm tightly. Find Rose. David collapsed during a business meeting. People screamed. Papers scattered across the floor. His chest burned like fire. Security guards rushed forward, while executives panicked. Call an ambulance. David struggled to breathe. Inside the ambulance, his mind replayed the warning. The child lives. The child lives. At the hospital, doctors worked desperately. Finally, the senior cardiologist removed his glove slowly. You need immediate surgery. It's risky. Monica stepped forward angrily. Money is not a problem. The doctor sighed deeply. There's one surgeon with the highest success rate in the country. He opened the doctor's profile on the screen. David stared at the name. What's his full name? Dr. Samuel Rose. Rose. The name echoed like a funeral bell. Fear entered David's soul for the first time in decades. David entered the glass hospital trembling. For once, money could not save him. Only one man could. Nurses pushed his wheelchair quickly through bright hallways. Monica stayed unusually quiet beside him. Then footsteps approached. Samuel entered calmly, wearing a white coat. David looked up slowly. His blood froze. The young surgeon looked painfully familiar. Samuel opened the medical file. Good afternoon, sir. Even the voice sounded familiar. David stared without blinking. Samuel noticed the strange reaction. Are you okay? David swallowed hard. Yes, doctor. Samuel explained the surgery risks carefully. David grabbed Samuel's wrist unexpectedly. What is your mother's name? Samuel frowned slightly. Rose. Monica almost dropped her handbag. Samuel looked at them, confused. He didn't know he was looking at the man who had ordered his death. David stared at Samuel in horror. The resemblance was too strong. Then guilt crashed into him like thunder. Samuel reviewed medical scans calmly, while David secretly studied his face. Every movement felt familiar. His own son? Impossible. Yet deep inside, David already knew. Doctor, he whispered weakly. Samuel looked up. Did your mother ever tell you about your father? Samuel's expression hardened immediately. No, David's chest tightened painfully. Why not? Samuel looked away briefly. Because he abandoned her. The words hit David like a slap. Monica interrupted quickly. After Samuel left the room, Monica grabbed David angrily. You must stop asking questions. She told you the baby died. David's voice rose. You brought the witnesses. You said she was a cheat. For the first time in 21 years, David became terrified of the truth, hiding inside his own past. Monica recognized Samuel immediately. The moment she saw his eyes, fear entered her heart, because she saw Rose inside him. She locked herself inside the hospital bathroom trembling. This cannot happen, she whispered. Her reflection looked guilty and old. For years, she believed Rose died after leaving the village. Now Rose's son stood inside the same hospital. Monica quickly called an old contact from the village. Find out if Rose is alive. The man hesitated. After all these years? Just do it. Meanwhile, Samuel reviewed David's medical history. Something felt strange. David kept staring at him emotionally. Rose suddenly arrived carrying food for her son. Samuel smiled warmly, but when Rose looked through the hospital window, she froze. The lunch bag dropped from her hands, because David sat inside that room. Monica stepped out of the elevator, standing there in shock. Their eyes met instantly. If David discovered the truth now, Monica would lose everything. Monica bribed a hospital clerk before sunrise. I need Dr. Samuel's records now. The terrified clerk accepted the money. Monica's hands shook while opening the file secretly. Then she saw it. Mother, Rose Miller. Her stomach dropped. Rose survived, and the child survived too. Monica quickly flipped through more papers. Date of birth, village records, everything matched. The room suddenly felt hot. No, her lies were collapsing. Meanwhile, Rose sat alone in the chapel crying. Samuel found her there. Mom, why are you crying? Rose wiped her face quickly. Before Rose could answer, hospital alarms exploded loudly. Doctors started running toward David's room in panic. Cardiac failure. Move now. The woman they left to die in the rain was alive, and her son now controlled David's heartbeat. David's heart monitor exploded into alarms. The nurses screamed. Doctors rushed into the room. David gasped violently for air. His body shook uncontrollably. Monica cried dramatically, but fear filled her eyes more than love. Samuel arrived instantly. Clear the room. Machines beeped wildly. David looked at Samuel desperately. For the first time, the rich man looked helpless. Please, he whispered weakly. Samuel worked quickly. Prepare emergency medication. The team obeyed. David suddenly grabbed Samuel's hand tightly. Don't let me die. Those words hit Samuel strangely. Why did this patient sound so emotional? Outside the room, Rose watched secretly while tears rolled down her face. Samuel was trying to save the same man who once destroyed them. The son was holding the father who never wanted him. As David's heartbeat weakened again, Samuel still had no idea he was holding his own father's life. Rose dropped the lunch bag immediately. Her hands started shaking because the man on the stretcher was David. 21 years disappeared instantly. She saw the rain again, the mud, the betrayal. Her unborn child is almost dying inside her. Rose backed away trembling. No, not again. Samuel noticed her panic immediately. Mom. Rose couldn't speak. Then David opened his eyes weakly as he was wheeled past. Their eyes met. The world stopped. David looked horrified. Rose. The name left his lips like a confession. Samuel froze. You know my mother? Rose quickly turned away. Let's go. But David stretched his weak hand toward her. Please don't leave. Rose turned back. You already left us once. The hallway fell silent. Samuel suddenly realized his entire life had been built on a hidden truth. Mom, is that him? Samuel's voice turned cold instantly. Rose could no longer hide. The hallway became painfully silent. David lowered his eyes in shame. Rose nodded slowly. Yes. Samuel stepped backward like someone punched him. That man. His voice cracked. That man is my father? Nobody answered immediately, because silence itself became the answer. Samuel looked at David with disbelief and rage. You threw my pregnant mother into the rain. David cried weakly. I was wrong. Samuel laughed bitterly. Wrong. My mother suffered for 21 years. Samuel shouted. Rose grabbed his arm gently. Please, but Samuel pulled away. All this time you knew who he was? Monica arrived and froze when she heard Samuel shouting. You are not my father. Samuel stared at his surgical hands. Those same hands now controlled David's survival. One decision could end everything. Inside the locker room, Samuel punched the wall angrily. How could he do that to her? His chest burned with rage. Images flooded his mind. His mother is struggling alone, working multiple jobs, crying secretly at night. And David lived rich while they suffered. A nurse entered nervously. Doctor, the patient is crashing again. Samuel didn't move. For one dangerous moment, silence filled the room. If he walked away now, nobody would question him. The man was old. The surgery was complex. Rose entered quietly behind him. I know your pain, she whispered. Samuel looked broken. He deserves punishment. Yes, Rose said, but he is already dying. Outside, doctors shouted urgently. We're losing him. If Samuel refused the surgery now, David would die before sunrise. I won't save him. Samuel shouted with tears in his eyes. Rose stood frozen before her son. He destroyed your life. Samuel cried. You almost died carrying me. Rose listened silently. Yes, he abandoned us like trash. Tears rolled down Rose's face slowly. Samuel's anger shook the room. So why should I save him? Rose moved closer carefully. Because your heart is not his heart. Samuel looked away painfully. He deserves to suffer. Rose nodded softly, and suffering already found him. Samuel clenched his fists tightly. He deserves worse. Don't become the man who hurt us, Rose whispered. Samuel's breathing slowed. I raised you with love, not revenge. If you let him die, he wins. Hospital alarms screamed again. Samuel looked at the surgical mask in his hand. Samuel stood outside the operating room shaking. Inside, David's heartbeat faded slowly. Every second mattered now. Doctors waited anxiously for Samuel's decision. Monica paced nervously nearby. For the first time, even she looked powerless. Samuel closed his eyes tightly. Then another memory returned. Mother Abigail's voice from childhood. Justice is not revenge. He used to think the old woman spoke in riddles. Now he understood. Revenge would not heal his mother. It would only poison him too. Samuel opened his eyes slowly. What kind of man do I want to become? Rose stood beside him proudly. The kind I prayed for. Samuel finally walked toward the scrub room silently. Monica looked shocked. You're still going to save him? Samuel faced her coldly. I'm saving my humanity. Samuel grabbed the surgical gloves at last. Samuel pulled on the surgical gloves slowly. The entire operating room became silent. David's life now rested in his son's hands. Scalpel. Samuel's voice remained steady despite the storm inside him. The surgery began immediately. Machines beeped constantly. Sweat rolled down every doctor's face. David's heart condition was worse than expected. We're losing pressure, a nurse shouted. Samuel stayed focused. Suction. Hours passed painfully. Outside, Rose prayed non-stop inside the chapel. Monica sat trembling quietly. Inside surgery, complications suddenly exploded. Cardiac tears. Panic filled the room. A younger doctor froze in fear. Samuel acted instantly. Clamp now. Blood spilled rapidly. Another machine alarm screamed loudly. He's flatlining, a doctor screamed. Samuel reached deeper into the chest cavity. The surgery succeeded. David survived, but his true punishment was only beginning. David slowly opened his eyes inside recovery. Everything looked blurry at first. Then he saw Samuel standing beside the bed. Cold, silent, alive. David's eyes filled instantly with tears. My son. Samuel's face did not change. You lost the right to call me that. The words cut deeply. David cried openly now. I was blind. Samuel folded his arms. No, you were cruel. Monica stood quietly in the corner, unable to speak. Samuel finally faced her too. You destroyed my mother's life. Monica lowered her head. I was jealous, she whispered. Rose entered slowly afterward. David looked at her like a broken man. I'm sorry. Rose stared calmly at him. Sorry I cannot return after 21 years, she said. I saved a patient, Samuel said coldly. But the father inside that body died 21 years ago. David broke completely. The hospital room felt heavy with silence. David looked smaller than ever before. Not rich, not powerful, just guilty. Samuel stood near the window. You watched my mother suffer. David cried quietly. I believed lies. You chose those lies because they were easier than loyalty. David lowered his eyes. Because Samuel was right. Rose stepped closer slowly. I begged you that night. David covered his face in shame. I know. You watched me bleed. Monica burst into tears. I paid the witnesses, David. I planned it all. David looked at her with pure horror. The foundation of his life was gone. David reached toward Samuel weakly. Can you ever forgive me? David cried harder than he ever cried before. But Samuel never called him father. Not even once. Weeks later, David slowly recovered. But emotionally, he remained broken. His mansion felt empty now. His money felt useless. Every heartbeat inside his chest reminded him of the son he rejected. Sometimes he sat alone staring at the rain outside his window, remembering that terrible night. He had divorced Monica, sending her away with nothing. Meanwhile, Samuel continued saving lives. Rose finally smiled more often. Peace returned to her heart. One evening, David visited their small home quietly. He carried no pride, only regret. Samuel opened the door. Rain suddenly started falling again outside, just like 21 years earlier. David whispered, "Is there still hope for me?" Samuel looked at his mother, then at David. "Live the rest of your life doing good." David survived the surgery, but every heartbeat inside